Welcome to our special broadcast on Manipur. Manipur is witnessing one of the worst ethnic clashes in decade. But what is worrisome is the fact that the world over the debate has been done on the religious line, tool to interfere in India's internal affairs. But I would say that's yesterday's matter. That has been answered. But how do people in Manipur are living their lives? What are they doing in Manipur? For how long do they get electricity? How much water is available to them? Markets, are they open through the day? Can they access things which they used to 60 days ago? You see, meeting between Biren Singh and other people can happen. The nominalness of destruction of bunkers can happen. Army can patrol. But what is the real picture? Are students going to school in full capacity? Is ghettoization coming to an end? Are Metis and cookies started to work in same offices? What is this new sense of normalcy which we are talking about? There's also a rumor-free number which they have provided, 9233522822. Central control room. Things have happened in Chura Chandpur. I really today don't want to get into all this. Today my guests include Brijesh Pandey, Mr. Kipgan from Imphal, Professor Prasenjit Biswas, who would help us put what sense of normalcy means in a civil society. Why is it important? But first, I'll go to Mr. Kipgan. Mr. Kipgan he's joining us from Imphal. I really want to know, what is your day like in Imphal? What do you do? Do you get to go to the market? Are vegetables available? Is meat available? Is milk available? Can you take a lonely walk? Can you go for an evening walk? Have you gone for a morning walk, Mr. Kipgan?
No, brother. I am not from exactly in Phal. I am at Kampopi.
Kankopi.
Yeah,
So,
Kampopi district. I am
Ka-
not in Phal.
okay, Kankopi. So, do you get to go for a walk? Do you go outside?
Yes, in Kampopi we used to go. We used to go to outside since there is no Meitei communities in this Kampopi area.
So, what is the life like in Kankopi? Can you just take us through?
The life in Kampopi this day, we have many displaced person right now at Kampopi, which is a safer zone for Kukis peoples. And most of the Assam Rifle displaced person has been brought by the Assam Rifle from Imphal to Kampopi. And we have relief camp here. And at this juncture, we try our best so that our student can go to the school. But somehow we could not manage still in the border areas. In Kampopi town too, of course, we can have some normal, but all the marketplace are not fully function, but half is functioning. And we can get some materials, vegetables, and everything from uh, Naga Brothers from Chanapati, which is close to Kampopi district.
Uh,
And right now the problem that we have is in Kampopi area is medical problem. Before the violence was started, Kampopi people we usually go to medical treatment at Imphal. Right now we have one civil hospital, government civil hospital. Uh, After the violence, you know, in Kampopi civil hospital, many Meitei doctor is also there. After the violence started, there is no Meitei doctors is available in Kampopi. We have some shortage of doctors and some minor case we can be treated in this Kampopi hospital. Some major problem, some major cases, we used to go to Kohima. which is very far from Kampopi. From Kampopi to Imphal is around 45 kilometers. It is not much difficult to go to Imphal for the treatment, but now, because of this violence, in major case, we used to go to Kohima or Dimapur for medical treatment. That is the most problem that we have faced in Kampopi district.
So, is transport available? Is transport available,
For
interstate transport available from Kankopi?
Kampopi to Nagaland,
Yes, Nagaland or other parts outside?
yeah, transportation is available at Kampopi. Since it is a national highway, SN highway, we can go from Kampopi to Dimapur and any other cities in mainland.
Mr. Kipgen, people would also like to know, a lot of property has been destroyed. Have the original inhabitants come there? The people who were living there?
You know, Imphal is a capital for Manipur. Some of the government officers from Kampopi, uh, they used to live, most of them are living in Imphal's areas. Some IPS officers, IAS officers, and many government officers who are from Kampopi district, they used to live in Imphal. They have their own plot at Imphal. After all their houses are burning, they have left Kampopi. And some of them do not have their residential at Kampopi district, though they are from Kampopi district. They have already settled in Imphal. Those people, they don't have any more residence at Kampopi district.
So they cannot come. And and what about children? Are schools open in and around? Are there online classes? How are people dealing without internet? You see, a lot of stories can be told about Manipur. Today, my whole job as an anchor sitting here is to get the story about Manipur, not about money from outside, but from Manipur. How do you organize your life without proper full broadband spectrum? Because I've been told that internet is not available throughout the area.
Yeah, internet is not available, but in emergency case, government office like DC office, they have internet for government official work. Uh, when it is necessary in Kampopi towns for the student, we try to connect with the internet at Kampopi DC office or any somewhere else.
I'm also joined by our input editor Brijesh. Brijesh, today the whole idea was to have a conversation on what is happening in Imphal. Biren Singh has held a meeting today. There have been instances of violence here and there. We've been holding debates on in context of bunkers, military, EU, other things. But the life stories are more important because sometimes the new normal is not the old normal. So there is a new normal there. There is no violence there, but the ghettoization is complete. Violence is sporadic, but arms have not come back. MLAs have stopped speaking, but it doesn't mean that they are interdining and talking to each other. So your opinion, opening thoughts on the new normal in Manipur.
Well, Karthikeya, the new normal is a forced normal. It's like if I may draw a parallel to Mumbai, where one suffers or undergoes a lot of suffering. The transport is broke, various things are broke, situation is not that normal, and then people start legitimizing the new normal by talking about how resilient the people is. This is just a facade of how you try to justify the new normal. The unfortunate aspect of the new normal is that the old normal is pinching to your eyes. The old normal is not going to come back very soon. You are aware of it. That is how you try to mask over it by presenting the new normal as the new in thing. The fact is that nobody is going to return those kids. Their 3 months of missed education, their normal livelihood, and the kind of poison which is going on vis-a-vis the kind of conversation, the kind of narratives that is being built around their ears and around their comprehension about how one ethnicity is after another ethnicity, how the government is either for them or against them, how this particular force is biased and how that force is not biased. it's not a normal upbringing, Karthik. It's not a normal situation where you and I would like to, feel normal about it. Unfortunate aspect is that yes, certain segments have started showing a degree of normalcy, like kids have started coming in. But once you start digging deeper, the reality comes in that that the kids are also segregated. The Meiteis kids are sitting with Meitei kids, the Kuki kids are sitting with Kuki kids, schools in the valleys are not open, and the various other things. The attendance is abysmally low. Yeah, the good thing is that the violence is not happening on a daily basis, but the distrust and the deep divide is so big, so huge, Kartike, that it would require a Herculean effort on the part of the state government and also the central government to start to initiate a political process in which both sides would feel comfortable to sit across the table. And that is, I think, going to be the biggest task, the biggest challenge before the central government, before the state government, and also before the leaders of various communities, the stakeholder groups, and all, as to how to initiate that process. Otherwise, this forced new normalcy is not going to take the state anywhere, Karthikeyan.
Mr. Kipgen, am I audible to you now? Mr. Kipgen, a lot of people would also like to know, now the people, they are in the different camps. Do you think that there is a chance that they can be easily relocated in next 2 or 3 months? Or is just a fantasy question from someone like me sitting in Delhi?
I don't think, because when the firing started, it destroyed everything. Now, though the firing has been off, it doesn't mean that it has become normalcy, because we cannot go to Imphal. Imphal people could not come to the hills.
But then what is the core demand of the tribal community? See, ultimately, people, Mr. Kipken, people will need to live together. It can't be, no, we can't stay with the Maitis. No one is going anywhere.
Yeah, that is the problem. Since emotional, everything, we are separated with the Meitei. We cannot be living together anymore. It may take 10, 20 years. I can't say, I could not predict that, but it will take long time. It may take almost 10 to 20 years. So, to solve the problems, since the tribals and the Kuki-Zo people, since we cannot live with the Meitei anymore, that is the main reason why we are demanding, we want to be, since we are already separated from the Meiteis physically, we need administration to be separated from the Manipur government. Since our government employee could not go to Imphal, and regarding the school, in the hills areas, there are more Meitei teachers are posted in hills areas government school. Since they could not come, how can we take the class? How can we run the school? Since there is no teacher, and most of the Ukizo people who are displaced from Imphal, most of them are government job. How can they go to Imphal? They can't go.
But there has to be a solution, there has to be a solution. The reason why today I've called you in my program is not to create a blame game. I really want to ask you, as a citizen, how do you think that people can come together? You can't fall short of words. People don't fall short of words when they have to blame other. I'm asking for a constructive answer from you.
Yeah. Thank you for the good questions. The problems, we are divided after killing. I think it will take time to live together again. I can't predict that.
Why? Why can't people live together? Why can't Metis and Cookies live together, Mr. Kipgan? You have been on my show for more than 50 times, I think. Why
No,
can't,
no.
why
What I
can't,
mean is that, we are killing each other. You know, Instead of the politicians, the youngster are admiring something like football player, a good singer, or film star. In the last couple of days, one of the Meitei singer have composed one popular song. If a peace return in Manipur, we could not stop the words. Before we kill all the cookies in Manipur, we wouldn't get peace in Manipur. That song was composed by the Meitei singer, which is popular in Manipur. You know, instead of a good politician, a younger generation follow a good football player, a film star, or a good singer. You know, even the children, small kids in the Manipur, they want to hold arms, whether the Meitei or the cookies. So it will take time, but at least 10 to 20 years.
Hasina, are you getting my voice?
Yes, I'm getting yes.
Hasina, tell me what is the life like in Manipur? What is the feedback you are getting? Are people able to? What is this new normalcy? Let me ask you, because I really don't want to get into this Methi cookie thing anymore. Naga, I just want to understand what is the new normalcy like in Manipur.
The new normalcy at the moment, the struggle of the people who have lost their homes, who are still in the various camps, the need needs to be fulfilled at this moment because there are shortage of food, shortage of relief material, the requirement. So these are things which are still the very much needed to be met in the course of all the biggest debate. Because at the end of the day, we have to understand that more and more people are being pushed in the various camps. And as human being, there is certain needs that needs to be provided. And that has not been met to the fullest. That's one reality. Second reality that is very much needed at the moment is, I think our previous panelist has mentioned that the voice of the youth. Very much I know the challenge of the internet and all of that is something that people have not been able to raise. But I also understand that the young people who are being the people who have taken Manipur to the next level of economic upliftment before the entire conflict that had re-arise are people who really want this to be stopped. So I also look at one aspect that these voices needs to be heard in the main television channel. The voices needs to be recorded, appeal needs to be recorded, because at the end of the day, they are the future for tomorrow. And they're not somebody who is retaliating against tribe, but they are wanting peace because many of them has come back to the region to fulfill a lot of aspiration in creating a new Manipur. We cannot forget that just because of the 2 months of situation, we cannot forget the development that has come along, the development of young voices, the development of many aspirant.
Let me go across to Professor Prasanjit. Professor Prasanjit, you said something yesterday. It stayed in my mind. Moral atonement.
Yes.
Just stayed in my mind. I when I went back home, it stayed in my mind, and I thought of the books I read of Gandhi in Noakhali.
Yes. Surely. I mean, it requires a lot of effort to really bring people who have been torn apart by such gory acts of violence. So one has to really establish the role of an exemplar of peace, fraternity, love, and brotherhood has to be brought into the frame. What we are talking at cross purposes most of the times, and we are getting polarized. In a difficult situation like Manipur, we need a peacemaker and not just a peace broker. And this is something absolutely necessary to reconcile. To reconcile between the communities, both the communities have to recognize each other's inner humanity. In order to do so, they have to see their own sins and not just the sins of others. They have to deeply empathize with the other's suffering that has happened in their hands. So if everyone realizes this, everyone looks back at themselves and tries and see what they are doing, or there is someone who can actually inculcate that feeling of self-reflexivity, that feeling of self-examination and critical understanding of the situation mixed with self-examination, that will be something like an atonement, and that is absolutely necessary for people who are taking up guns, and also for the government to really bring together the conflicting side into an understanding, into rebuilding the sundered human relationship. And this has to be a task that the larger country, the mainstream, needs to undertake. Because people in the Northeast are already getting involved in this side or that side, in this narrative or that narrative. Now, narratives are not going to help. What is going to help us is this concrete ground level peace work that has to be carried out by sensible individuals, by civil society, by victims, even by the perceived aggressors. We have to really bring in a change of heart in the situation. And that is the most difficult thing that needs to be accomplished at this crisis hour.